Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Blast Premier Fall Final Tournament, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on who's going to win the opening matches in the group stage and what the tournament could look like as a whole. So the teams we have here are Heroic, the runner-up at the last major, Na'Vi, who placed 5th, 8th, FaZe, who has been looking really shaky lately, Liquid, who is historically up and down, G2, who failed to even qualify for the major, NIP, who qualified to the major through the RMR without a hitch, but ultimately failed to win a single map at the major itself. OG made some noise, but ultimately failed to qualify for the playoffs, and Fluxo failed to qualify for the major, period. But at the fall showdown, they actually looked pretty good, taking down Complexity and MIBR. And the opening matchups we have starts off with FaZe OG, two international teams of the tournament scoring off against each other. FaZe could easily just come out and win this match without really a hiccup, but I could definitely see OG coming out gun swinging. All of their players, Fiku he had some really shaky maps at the major, but I think towards the end he really started to find his form, and with him starting to put it together at the end, it's going to build even more confidence. He's like, okay, I can really start to do this. Outside of the major, he's been great. The kid's phenomenal, but I think that experience in the major is kind of really going to really do something, not just for him, but for that whole team, man. FlameZ2, NeoFrag, those are all young kids. And FaZe, like I said, they've been looking shaky. They went to the major, went 0-3, only winning a map against Bad News Eagles and a best of 3 and still losing it. It's just they have all the talent in the world, and they're just failing to put it together right now. I think FaZe should win this game. If I was a betting man, I would bet on them. The odds might be a little bit skewed because of their recent form. But this tournament is a perfect opportunity for FaZe to come out and show them they're still who they are. And if they fail to do that, I think this might be the end for this iteration of the FaZe roster. I'm a big believer in continuity, but this team was easily the best team in the world at one point, and they just fell off a hill drastically. So something has to be done about that. You can't just continue to be mid whenever you were the best team in the world at one point. But yeah, so I would have FaZe winning this match and going on to the upper final. And then we have Heroic, NIP. I honestly think this one is pretty cut and dry. Heroic should take this one pretty confidently. Really no hiccups. It's not the same as the FaZe OG match. I don't think there's really any room for NIP to win this game. They've, ever since Device stopped playing, have really failed to show anything. They've kind of just been like a 14, 15 team in the world. They're kind of on the big tier. How I see them is they're almost the gatekeepers of tier 1. Like if you can beat NIP, I don't even want to say that though because they just lost to Sprout. But I think they're similar to Big and Furia, a little bit worse than them. Big and Furia are maybe a tier above, but I think they're somewhat in the same region ranking wise. And the lower final, I think NIP goes home here winless. OG or FaZe, whichever one ends up here, are both superior teams in my opinion. And I do think it is going to be OG here, and I think OG just has more talent, more explosiveness. NIP just won't be able to keep up. And then in the upper final, we'll have Heroic versus FaZe OG winner. I think it's going to be FaZe, and I'm still going to take Heroic, though. I think their form, they looked really good at the major, taking care of Liquid pretty confidently. really only stumbling to Cloud9, who they've had a long time rivalry with, spanning back to the online era a couple years ago, and Outsiders in the finals. And, Outsiders had a hell of a tournament, and you can't really hold that against Heroic. Their form, in my opinion, was legit. They beat good teams. They lost to good teams. So I'm going to take them. They're going to win. They're going to be the first seed out of Group A and get the first spot in the playoffs. Then down here we have Na'Vi and Fluxo. Na'Vi historically come in slow to group stages. If this was a best of one, I would bet against Na'Vi. But the fact that it's a best of three on LAN, Na'Vi has so much talent. I could see a world where the Brazilians, VSM and Phelps, they're capable of doing some nasty things with those AKs. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they cause some tilt factor in Na'Vi. But Na'Vi is the better team. They should win that 2-0, perhaps maybe 2-1, just because, like I said, they historically start slow at tournaments. And then Liquid G2. This game and the FaZe OG game, in my opinion, are the two most exciting games of the day. Liquid and G2 are two of the most inconsistent teams in the world. Both of them at their peak can make it to the finals and potentially win a tournament. Both of them at their worst can go winless at the exact same tournament and just completely bomb out. So, it's really going to depend on who shows up to play. It could be a, blowout for G2. It could be a blowout for Liquid. It could be a close win for G2. It could be a close win for Liquid. There's really no telling how this series can go. But as hard as it is for me to say this, I do think G2 is going to win. I'll be watching, and I'm going to be rooting for Liquid. But, before the RMR, I think G2 with HooXi looked pretty legit. They choked against Vitality at the Pro League Finals on that one map, but I still think that they're capable of being a top 3 team in the world. They have the talent to do it. m0NESY, absolutely unbelievable. NiKo, absolutely unbelievable. Those two are top 10 easy players in the world right now. And Hunter is capable of being top 20. JKS is capable of being top 20 in his peak. So they have all the talent to put it together. And I think, and maybe they, replacing their coach, they are going to be able to put it together a little bit more. Maybe he didn't agree with HooXi or something like that. Maybe they just didn't get along. I don't want to put any blame or anything, but we can always theorize. And I do think HooXi is legit. On that Copenhagen Flames team, they had a really lot of cool ideas. Like they would just pull some type of gimmick on the CT side where they had like a weird boost or a weird molly and a push behind it, or something on the T side where they've got a weird smoke lineup and it's a fake for an execute. So I think he can bring a lot of stuff like that to the team. And also, he can just kind of revitalize it. Under HooXi, m0NESY has been playing the best CS of his entire career. And if that can continue, this team can be absolutely insane. And I think they are similar to Na'Vi in the way that their tilt is what prevents them from being what they were. And I don't really know how to fix that with this team. I think HooXi is a really good IGL. NiKo is capable of being that secondary voice. It seems like he almost has a history of undermining his IGLs, but honestly, he wants to win, and he really can be that secondary voice in the team, and I'm inclined to believe he can do that. And m0NESY is exactly like those kids on Copenhagen Flames, you know, one of the nerds of the game, willing to spend time just theory crafting. So I think him and Hooksy can really get along. I think that's why he's been playing so well with Hooksy, is because, you know, he's a theory crafter too. But yeah, that's enough. That's enough about G2. I don't want to be a believer because they always disappoint, but I want to believe because they have all the talent in the world, you know? And NiKo is too good to not be winning tournaments. So yeah, G2 will beat Liquid, as much as it hurts to say that. And then the Na'Vi G2 game, I could see a world where G2 just perfectly anti-strat Na'Vi again, like they did at the Pro League Finals. But I have my eyes on Na'Vi to win the entire tournament, and I don't think G2 is going to be the ones to stop them. So Na'Vi, I'm going to take Na'Vi in the best of 3 upper final over G2. And then in the lower final, Liquid is the better team than Fluke, so really shouldn't be any room for an upset. With Liquid, you never know. But yeah, that's my group stage picks. I don't want to start predicting the playoffs yet because for all I know, every single one of these picks could be wrong. And if I start predicting the playoffs, I'll just get ahead of myself. But I'll make another video covering that whenever the group stage is wrapped up. And I can see what the playoffs look like. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. If you made it this far, I know you enjoyed the video, so make sure you drop that like and, you know, just enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.